Good evening, what is up guys? It's been a couple of days since we talked, so I thought I would update you, let you know how things have been going, maybe even update you on this Otterbox Defender case that I received a couple of days ago. Actually, I've had it about 3 days now. I've been using it for the most part since then. Had it off and on, I think yesterday, because I was testing some things out. But basically, like I said in the review, I don't think I've ever had a device this protected. You know, if I drop it on the ground, I'm fairly certain that it's not going to smash into 1,000 pieces. I don't want to do that though, and I don't regularly drop my devices, but still, it's nice to know that if my son picks it up and slams it against a wall or throws it against the fireplace, it's not going to just shatter. Now, addressing some concerns that people had mentioned, one is the physical size difference. It is about twice as thick as it was before. That does become a bit of an issue when you try to put it in a pocket. In a front pocket, it's not so bad. In a side pocket, like these carpenter pants that I wear, I've got a pocket that's just about wide enough for my hand, but not quite, so it doesn't fit in there anymore. Now, I emailed the contact that I have at Otterbox and shared with him some of the concerns I had, and I thought I'd go ahead and share them with you here. They're really not that big of a deal when you really look at it, but they're just some things I would want you to know before you purchase something like this, if you were going to do so. The first concern, and it's really not a big deal, it's something you would expect out of anything that is silicone. It's really hard to see here, but if you put this in your pocket, if you put this in a backpack or anything, it gets covered in lint immediately. I put this in my front pocket for a full day, and it was just completely covered in pocket lint, and it is kind of difficult to get it off there. It's better be there than on the device, in my opinion, but when I have the device alone, I don't have that, so again, not really a big deal, not hurting functionality. The second concern that I had, and I believe this is specific to my device, you might be able to hear this, when I squeeze this corner, the plastic underneath makes a little bit of a squeaking sound. It's just where it doesn't fit together 100% perfectly, it doesn't snap together very tightly right there. All the rest of it is fine, it's just that one corner down by the camera button is a little bit loose. Again, nitpicking, not really a big deal or anything, doesn't hurt functionality. And that's where the non-functionality hurting things ends. That sentence didn't make a whole lot of sense, but anyway, we'll get to that. The third sort of concern that I did have with this case, and again, it might only be my case, after talking to the guy that I'm in touch with at Otterbox, he says it could have something to do with my case, but just looking at the design, I'm inclined to think maybe not. If you look here around the screen, there is a bit of a lip where this silicone meets and actually grips it. You see I pulled it loose there, and if I give it a little push, I can put it back in place. And it seals, kind of seals. The problem is, the bottom, right here by the buttons, does not seal. So with a slight pull, a slight movement, that comes loose, and it wasn't sealed in there in the first place. Which means that just giving it a slight, see a squeeze there on the sides, just a little, say I'm pulling it out of my pocket funny, the buttons are all uncovered now, so I can't really hit them anymore. Can't hit them appropriately, at least. Again, not a huge deal. You give it a little push back down, and the buttons are all usable, they're all fine. But I noticed a couple of times when I'd pick up the phone by the bottom, I would reach for a button and not be able to hit it immediately. Just expressing concerns, anyway. The last concern that I had, and this one, it's not a deal breaker again, and I talked to them, and they say it's not a design flaw, it's a product of the case being such a big case and such a, so much coverage. Basically the problem is, and it's again not a huge deal, if I take a widget on my home screen and I want to move it, I drag it to the corner of the screen, right? You'll notice that I'm not getting any other screens. It's not going anywhere. Because you can't drag it far enough to hit the edge of the screen and move over to the next one to drag it. And it works either way. Dragging, yeah, over to the corner, doesn't do anything. I've tried this with three or four different launchers. 3 different launchers, I think. The default built-in launcher, actually no, I replaced it with the Gingerbread launcher from the App Store, the Launcher Pro, and Go Launcher EX, which is what I'm using right now. After talking to my contact at Otterbox, he says it is a bit of an issue because they have this little, I don't even know what to call it, the bezel around the outside of the screen. You just can't get it close enough to the edge to make it move. Not a huge deal, but for someone who likes to customize as much as I do, it is a little bit more of an inconvenience than I would like. That does lead into a new and interesting topic, though. In the last day, I think just starting today, maybe yesterday, I saw an article on Droid Life about a new launcher. I don't know how new it is, but it's new to me, called Go Launcher EX. I just mentioned it a second ago. And basically it's a lot like Launcher Pro, in that you've got the dock at the bottom, and you can have 3 sets of dock icons. You probably can't see that terribly well, but in addition to having the pinch to zoom out to see all of your home screens, and I just figured this out this evening, and they didn't even mention it on Droid Life, you can keep adding new home screens by touching them, just kind of like you do with, what is it, GNOME 3 that's coming out, GNOME Shell. But if you swipe over, you see I've got another page that I can put more home screens on. So if I wanted to have it, I could have as many home screens as I want. I tried it earlier. I was able to get 30 home screens on this device. Now the problem with Go Launcher so far is the memory usage. I don't know if maybe I'm missing something, but I've checked in the Advanced Task Killer. There's nothing else new running, and my memory usage has been going down as low, or my memory remaining has been getting as low as 40 megs remaining, whereas with Launcher Pro it would stay in the 100 meg range, usually 70 megs at the lowest. So significantly more memory usage out of this, I would guess, and I've only got 4 home screens now, and I think I had 5 before. So if you haven't tried it out already, you do have an Android device, you might want to check out Go Launcher EX. It's free in the App Store. I'll try to include the little QR code on the screen here if you'd like to try it out. One more thing to mention, and you might have noticed it already, my son made a picture for me at daycare. It's penguins, and it's going on the set. Now, as you know, my son is just about 2 years old, so he didn't do the entire picture himself. I think the blue paint on top of it, the scribble there, that was his work. But it's very cool to get a picture from your son that's penguins to be able to put on your set like this. Alright, this video has run extremely long. I didn't mean to talk so much about the Otterbox case as I did. That is about all for today, though. I'll be working on a news video tomorrow. Make sure to check out the Foresight Linux review and the SSH tutorial I did on the main channel if you haven't seen them already. I am, of course, working on a new music video for the third channel, which hopefully I can get done in the next few days, fingers crossed, maybe over the weekend. I'm really working on streamlining my process. Hopefully I can get this a whole lot more efficient in the near future. But for the time being, that's all I got to say to you guys. Let me know what's going on with you in the comments section below. But as always, thanks for watching. See you later, guys.